What's up? How you doing down there?
What?
You having fun? In my bed? Again? I do have a knife. Oh, you're over there. I still have a knife though. You shouldn't do these things.
Look, I was playing a trick. But this time I was over there. Isn't that funny? Hello there, Stevenites. I wanted to start off by saying that I just got through reading all the comments from yesterday's achievements video, and I am thoroughly impressed. Everyone's is definitely applause-worthy, but there were a few people that just finished up doing some pretty awesome stuff. So to everyone, I applaud you. Congratulations. Today's video, at least in conception, is going to be fairly short because I only have 3 things to hit on. The first thing I wanted to share was that one of our regular viewers, Warriors on Weekends, or Nick, has just released his first vlog, and he's actually doing them in a weekly format. You may recall some time ago I told you about another regular, Phase on Chaos, who started doing a microvlog after Alex had talked about it, where you release a vlog once a month of the entire month. Well, he's managed to do 5 at this point. I've actually seen them all, and they're all pretty funny, so you should go over to his channel and watch them. But Warriors on Weekends channel has just released the first vlog, so I'm going to link that down in the description bar also. Also, I pointed over here. It's not over here, it's down below. There was a time when it was on the side, but now it's down there. So go down there and check out week 1 of Warrior on Weekends vlog. There's actually a part that I feel is very, very therapeutic, so if you don't watch anything else, if you start watching it and you're like, I'm going to click off this and I don't want to watch it, which you shouldn't do because it's pretty interesting, but watch 454 to 654. I don't know if it was just the music combined with the longboarding. There's a lot of longboarding, by the way, but that was just like so therapeutic for me. I don't know. I guess a lot of it had to do with the music and the scenery, going down like this one road with all the trees on each side. Greensboro looks beautiful, by the way, but I don't know. I just watched it, and for those 2 minutes, I was just like, it's kind of in my own little world. So check that out. 454 to 654 is my favorite part, but watch the entire thing, and I'm sure Warriors on Weekend will thank you. The second bit of news today is actually a little tragic. I mean, not as tragic as some of the things going on in the world, but it is a little sad. Cisco, the company that bought Flip Video, is discontinuing Flip Video, and they're not selling it, so it's not really a possibility of someone, buying the property and continuing Flip, but they decided that, camera phones were just getting up there, and there was no way that Flip was going to be able to compete, which I understand, but at the same point, you guys know, especially if you were watching back when I bought the iPod Touch to use as a vlog camera, it's nowhere near the same. Like, not at all. Like, the Flip just trumps the iPod Touch 4. That's just the way it is. So does this mean that the vlogs will no longer take place with Flip? No, not even a little bit. But it means that I need to make sure that this thing doesn't break, because it may be a little harder to get a replacement in the near future. Speaking of near future, in June, whenever me and Mal are finally together, I'll have access to her T2i. So any of the vlogs that would take place in my house, in my home, with me, doing stuff like this, will be shot on the T2i, and that is thrilling, or it should be, because it's a much better picture. So yeah, it's a little sad to see Flip go, but I'm sure that there's bigger and better technology on the way. I say bigger, but I shouldn't say bigger. Probably smaller. Probably something half the size of the Flip that looks twice as good. It probably won't be too long before we have T2is that fit in the palm of our hand that we can put in our pocket, and I will spring for that. That would be amazing. The last bit of news is definitely the most exciting, and it was so exciting to me earlier that I spent an hour refreshing a page, looking at updates, and at one point I ran out of the room screaming just like a schoolgirl. It was just so exciting for me. What was it that I was so excited about? Well, tonight in Las Vegas there was a special conference in which Apple unveiled the new Final Cut Pro. It's titled Final Cut Pro X, and the program was completely rebuilt from the ground up. Also, I'm totally about to throw some technical stuff at you with some editor jargon, so follow along if you can, and it won't last long, I promise. The Twitter user I was following the entire time the event was going on was Rob Imps. He's a director/editor, and he was uploading stuff to TwitPic and TwitVid so we could actually see the presentation that Apple was giving, and it is incredible. I'm going to read a few of these new awesome features verbatim from MacRumors.com. It allows you to edit as you are importing. You don't have to wait to ingest. Background rendering is built in. There's no more writing video dialog box, which is absolutely amazing. Automatic audio cleanup on the way. You can actually get rid of audio artifacts as you're bringing the footage in. Clip connections, apparently they've completely redone the timeline. I mean, to be fair, they've completely redone everything, but the timeline is supposed to be redone where nothing will ever get out of sync, ever. They've redone nesting. You can now tag clips and portions of clips so you can find footage more easily. It has people detection. It knows what shots you bring in, so it can automatically detect what the wide shots and the close-up shots are, and it can categorize them automatically for you. Completely reworked color correcting, and they've done built-in color matching. They also have a pluralize-like thing. If you remember, whenever I was working on Phoenix Beyond, I talked about how awesome pluralize were. Pluralize might be going out of business just because it's now built into Final Cut. I was sitting there every 30 seconds hitting Command R, refreshing Twitter just to see what the new thing was going to be, what the new twit pick was going to be, and he was tweeting quite frequently, and I find it kind of weird that I'm talking about this because I don't follow Twitter very well, but I was following Twitter very well tonight. Just a lot of awesome stuff, but what made me run out of the room screaming like a little girl, and might make some of you run around screaming like a little girl, or at least it should if you're in any way interested in video editing and have a Mac. The price... Well, let me tell you this first. It ships in June, so it's coming out real soon. The price is $299. $300. $300! In case you're not aware, that price is absolutely incredible. None of the other companies can even get anywhere close to touching that. And Final Cut Studio right now is $1,000. That's version 7, Final Cut Pro 7. That's what I have my certification for, which actually raises an interesting question of whether or not I'll have to be recertified for Final Cut Pro X. Probably will, especially because I redid it, but we'll worry about that later. A lot of you are probably at least familiar with iMovie. There's actually a program between iMovie and Final Cut Pro called Final Cut Express. It has most of the stuff Pro does, but doesn't have the suite, doesn't have motion and color and some of the other programs that are included in Final Cut Studio. But Final Cut Express is $200. If Final Cut Pro is $300, there's a very likely chance that Final Cut Express is either going to be heavily discounted or just might get the axe and be gone forever. Either way, I am super ultra pumped for Final Cut Pro X, and June cannot get here fast enough. So now I have two things to look forward to. Final Cut Pro X and Mallory. Mallory takes priority. Hi Mal, if you're watching, I love you. But you definitely can't argue with the fact that I'm obviously very excited for this program. This is changing everything. Again, and Apple's pretty good at that. And they apparently looked at what everyone needed, wanted, and made it useful. And at $299, dear God, you can't offer something like this for $299. Actually, it's really awesome because that means everyone will be able to get on the Final Cut Pro bandwagon. Everyone should be able to buy Final Cut Pro because $300 is so reasonable. I suspect that people will be more willing to buy the program as opposed to pirate it when the program is only $300 as opposed to $1,000. So yeah, that was pretty much what has had my attention today. Obviously Final Cut up here, and you know, losing Flip is a little sad, but you know, Final Cut made up for that in spades. And don't forget to check out Nick's first week vlog video. He's a big member of the Steam Vlog community. He watches all the time. And I think that we should show our fellow members respect and check out their stuff. So this video came out a little longer than I was thinking. I guess I rambled on about Final Cut too much. But talk about something I talked about today, and let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?